Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. So, folks, this week we have some fun stories to share. First, we're going to start with talking about how Kenton remains on the cutting edge and how it's even recognized throughout the state. Then we're going to move over to giving you an update on just the week, some events that happened around here in Kenton during this week. I want to give us a reminder. This change to expect in our community really has very little to do with the school district, but I wanted to share it with you, making sure that it's front and center because it is a change coming up around the corner. Then we'll finish it off with, once again, our National Hispanic Heritage Month recognition and our recognition. So let's get going. So on the cutting edge, Kenton really always has been known for our unique and wonderful programming, and nothing short of that recognition this week as we had a visitor from the New York State United Teachers Organization, NYSET, that many people know about. Their Executive Vice President, Ms. Jolene T. DeBrango, on Wednesday was actually a visitor here to Kenton to see some of the wonderful things that all of our staff, our teachers, our administrators always lead here in our district. One of those things that she came to see with her colleagues when they visited Kenmore Middle School, they looked at our Staff Development Center, which provides training and professional development for teachers, administrator, and our staff throughout the school year. They learned about the center's ongoing Be Well initiative and a series of workshops to help guide staff on how to best support students and themselves, especially coming out of this pandemic. Our Be Well Kenton initiative, it's just a wonderful exemplar of really that other districts can look to. And speaking of that exemplar, they also visited our Big Picture program at Kenmore Middle. And we really thank those NYSET reps led by Ms. DeBrango, led by our NYSET reps here. It really just is an example of how our staff are really doing great things, not only for kids through our programming, but even kids indirectly by continuously receiving training and trying to become the best that they could be. So excellent visit on Wednesday, and thank you, Ms. DeBrango, for coming here to spread the great word of Kenton throughout our New York State. That leads us to some other things that were happening throughout our district. For example, this week, our Board of Education visited at Thomas Edison Elementary and really spending time, and our board does this every month, ladies and gentlemen. They visit a different school every month so they get to spend some quality time with teachers, administrators, our staff, our support staff, and really seeing some of the programming that we know really put into action. And it was a great visit. During our board meeting that's coming up this coming Tuesday, you can see we highlight the school that we visit that month, and you'll see Thomas Edison highlighted during that board meeting. Also, we had our first parent cabinet meeting of the 21-22 school year, and that was this past Wednesday night, and it was a great time for what the parent cabinet is. As a reminder, it's a time for when our leaders, our parent leaders of each school community come together. I present some of the things that we're doing in the district, some of the hot topics of that time, of that quarter. We talked about testing and all of our partnerships with testing. We also talked about the capital project and some of the progress in our capital project. And we also talked about best practices where our parents are sharing different things that are happening at the schools through the parent organizations, everything from activities and events to fundraising opportunities. So that was a wonderful meeting. Also, we had instructional training happening throughout our district this week. For example, we welcomed Mr. Jim Knight, a nationally known speaker, author, trainer, and professional development coordinator who led workshops throughout the week. Our instructional support specialists, our teacher mentors, and our instructional leaders and school administrators participated in the trainings that focused on instructional coaching and the impact cycle, which creates the framework for continuous improvement. And here's the exciting thing. The people that attended this training then become turnkey trainers throughout the district for the rest of our staff, the rest of our teachers and administrators throughout the district, so that we can really continue this work in Kenton. Now, I said to you about a reminder this week, and this is where I'm going now in this. We're calling it the 10-digit dial reminder. I bet many of our Kenton folk don't know about this. I didn't know about this because at the end of this month, there's a significant change that we're all going to experience. And it will take effect when everyone makes any voice telephone calls within the 716. We're used to that we could pick up the phone, even our cell phones. And because if that cell phone is in the 716 area, we could just dial the phone number, the 7-digit phone number, and the phone call will be placed. By the end of this month, that's not going to exist anymore, ladies and gentlemen, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And the United States Federal Communication Commission, we know it typically as the FCC, will require 10-digit dialing within the 716 area code. So, for example, typically from your home, you used to be able to call, or even from your cell phone, if it's a 716 cell phone, you used to be able to call our district number, 874-8400, and you would get right through to us. Now, by the end of this month, you won't be able to do that. You'll have to dial 716-874-8400. Now, I know that this seems pretty minuscule, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention because it was something that was not on my radar as your superintendent, and it is something that will affect all of our lives. So right there in the connection, we have a link there that you could press on that will bring you to more information, but it's important that everyone's prepared for this transition. Anyone with a cell phone, you're strongly encouraged to go through your contacts and add 716 if you didn't have that before. If not, when you go to your contacts, you're not going to just be able to hit that contact and it'll dial. So trying to prepare us for that. Another recognition this week during our National Hispanic Heritage Month, today we celebrate Sylvia Mendez, who was at the forefront of school desegregation almost a decade before the landmark Brown versus Board of Education case and decision. Miss Mendez's parents emigrated to the U.S. from Mexico and Puerto Rico. She was born in 1936 and grew up in the small city of Westminster, California, right near Los Angeles. Schools were segregated for Hispanic Americans at the time. The school Sylvia attended, along with other Hispanic American children in the neighborhood, was a 2-room wooden shack. Meanwhile, white students attended the 17th Street Elementary School, a large brick and concrete building with significantly more educational resources and opportunities. In 1943, Sylvia's family sought for her and her younger brothers to enroll at the 17th Street Elementary, but school officials denied their request because of the color of their skin and their Mexican surname. Her parents took action and joined with others to file a lawsuit on behalf of Hispanic American children in the district. In the Mendez versus Westminster case, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit prohibited these schools from denying entry to Hispanic Americans. And on January 19, 1948, Miss Mendez was finally allowed to attend the 17th Street Elementary School, thus becoming the first Hispanic American child to attend an all-white school in California. Miss Mendez, who faced discrimination throughout her time at the school, went on to become a nurse and currently lives only a short distance away from the school she once attended. This case set a precedent for ending segregation in the U.S. Thurgood Marshall, who would later become a Supreme Court justice, was one of the lead attorneys for the case, and he would use the same arguments a few years later in the historic 1954 Brown versus Board of Education case, which finally ended segregation in schools. And folks, you can see how significant Miss Mendez's fight was to end segregation and to really be the trailblazing case to keep that movement going forward during the mid-1900s. And we continue today to make sure that we're fighting for equity in all education for all students. Great job, great way to learn during this weekly connection. And finally, we end on our recognition for today and this week. And this was really a neat story. And this gentleman is not even expecting it. One of our transportation really experts in the district, Mr. Dominic Bergio. Over the weekend, and folks, listen to this story. over the weekend, a teacher in the Cassadaga Valley School District traveled more than an hour to visit the teacher desk. And the teacher desk is a place where teachers around all of the area can go to get supplies for their classroom. It's situated right there in Buffalo, New York. And she went there in order to get supplies for her classroom. She became lost after her cell phone died, but was able to find help from one of our own bus drivers, Mr. Dominic Bergio. And listen to what he did. Mr. Bergio was aboard his bus after transporting our own Kenmore East boys volleyball team to a city honors tournament. She parked her car nearby and asked Mr. Bergio for help. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know how to find her way. Once again, we've become so reliant on GPS. Our phone's not working. She couldn't find her way. Mr. Bergio went out of his way to make sure she knew exactly where she was and how to get to her destination. She was so moved by Mr. Bergio's assistance that on her own doing, she reached out to the district offices to express her appreciation earlier this week. Mr. Bergio has been a bus driver for the district since 2019 and is a prime example of the Kenton spirit and helping those in need. We often don't realize the impact we have on others, so this is a great reminder that the smallest good deeds could have a profound impact and we could always make a positive difference. Mr. Bergio is the exemplar of Kenton today. And this is where we want to end today, really encouraging our families with our students that this is what we are in Kenton. We make ourselves proud, we are strong, and we're always looking to move the Kenton way forward. Thank you, Mr. Bergio. Thank you to all of our families. Let's have a great weekend. Go Bills!